then Wiz, who was the helicopter, he was a Top Gun instructor and graduate. He said, it does not look intentional to me. It literally looks like they are just clueless about the regional jet.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are on Megyn Kelly's show today, where, as you can see, she's talking to Charlie Kirk about this tragic crash over Washington, D.C. between a commercial airliner and an Army Black Hawk helicopter. I'm sure you've all seen the video. There's lots of different, there's footage from different angles, and yeah, it's horrific, absolutely horrific. People have been talking about it for days now. There's conspiracy theories going around on the internet. You know, one of the main ones being the fact, or fueled by the fact that the Army took 4 days, I believe it was, to release the name of the pilot. They immediately released 2 of the guys on the helicopter. There were 3 people on the helicopter, 2 men. They released their details immediately, but took them 4 days to release the name of the pilot. And when they released her name, yes, it was a woman, a lesbian woman, it was found that all her social media had been completely scrubbed from the internet. So they were obviously using that time to scrub her presence from the internet, especially her social media. And why would they do that, one wonders? You know, they didn't scrub the social media of the other guys who died. So I personally think, you know, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think it's because there's stuff that she's put on the internet, either on her social media, or maybe the Army had stuff about her too on their websites, you know, touting her as a great, a great addition to the piloting fraternity. You know, maybe she's one of the first to fly Blackhawks. I don't know, but I have a feeling that, as Donald Trump said at his initial press briefing, and this annoyed and angered a lot of people, he basically blamed DEI for the crash. Or he didn't blame it. He said he wanted to see if DEI was a factor. He was talking specifically about the FAA using DEI practices to hire air traffic controllers. And in this case, it's become clear over the last few days that air traffic control did their job perfectly on that evening. And it's almost 100% certain that it was the fault of the helicopter, and therefore the fault of the helicopter pilot. So, as usual, Donald Trump's instincts were 100% spot on. Maybe the DEI problem was not, in this case, was not with the FAA, but with the Army. We all know the DEI has been pushing ad nauseum. It's all sorts of DEI and diversity programs for many years now. You know, so much so that white men have not been, well, first of all, the Army now has a recruitment problem in general, and its main source of recruitment, white men, has really dropped. So, and almost certainly because of these ridiculous DEI programs the Army has been pushing. But now let's get into the video and see what Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk have to say.
Start with the plane crash because everybody's talking about it. And those latest videos that we woke up to this morning, I mean, my jaw dropped. Yesterday I had on the show these 2 pilots, and I showed them the video we all saw that was circulating everywhere yesterday. And to me, it looked very much like there was a plane coming from behind, like the helicopter was coming from behind and kind of went right into the regional jet. And they explained to me that what we were seeing coming from behind there actually was not there. So you can see this light approaching. Forget the plane on the top of the screen. It's the lower one. And you can kind of see what looks like a plane coming right into it, the helicopter running right into the regional jet. And they said, I wasn't seeing it right, that wasn't the helicopter coming from behind. That was a different regional jet or smaller jet. And that, in fact, the helicopter had been coming from, like, the side and is not really that visible. And then today, new video surfaced that really shows what I thought I was seeing yesterday. It looks like the helicopter, like, almost ramming into the regional jet. Here it is. And I do believe that is the helicopter hitting the regional jet. I mean, it is. It's the proper video now. It's just from a different angle. But, and everybody online is saying, what's happening? What was this an intentional takedown? And then there was additional speculation. I want to underscore, it turned out to be totally false, that maybe the pilot of the helicopter was a trans woman. There were reports that it's a woman, and we do believe it was a woman. But then people started saying it's a trans person, it's a man pretending to be a woman, and they attached a name to this person. That it wasn't true. That person is alive and well and was not piloting that helicopter. We don't believe it was a trans person. We believe it was an actual woman with 500 hours of flying experience. And we're told that's a decent amount. We don't know all the details. We'll find out more today. So here is what the pilot said. Stand by. Let me get this up so that I can just read you. John, who was on yesterday, said to him, "This does not look intentional. The helicopter was more or less following the standard helicopter route along the east side of the river. It was what they were cleared for. They were slightly high, like 100 feet, and maybe a bit off course, but this would not be unusual, particularly if they were flying on night vision goggles, which we believe they may have been. It appears that they either lost sight of the regional jet or that they misidentified another jet in line behind this regional jet when they were asked by air traffic control, do you see the jet? And they said yes. Or they perhaps got distracted. Then Wiz, who was the helicopter, he was a Top Gun instructor and graduate. He said, it does not look intentional to me. It literally looks like they are just clueless about the regional jet. Remember, pilots can be heads down in the cockpit looking at stuff. They're not always looking out the front window. If both pilots are looking at something inside the cockpit or entering something into a computer, nobody's looking out the window, especially if they believe they had the traffic in sight that was a threat to them, which clearly was the wrong traffic. In other words, he's saying too, when they said they saw the jet, they were probably looking at the wrong jet.
Yeah, from all the reading I've done on expert sites where experts are talking about this, and there's some good channels on YouTube too, it's almost certain that when air traffic control told the helicopter to watch out for the CRJ jet, that the helicopter crew or the pilot, in fact, said, yes, we see the CRJ's jet, but in fact, they were looking at the one behind it or something like that. Now, secondly, they 100% were not flying in their corridor. They were apparently off track. They weren't in their corridor, and they were too high. And yeah, they weren't a lot high in general terms. They were like 150 feet too high. But when you're in a super busy airspace like the airport there, that is catastrophic. If they had been under 200 feet like they're supposed to have been, then it would have been a very close call, but the crash wouldn't have happened. And yes, of course, the experts all say, well, it's very easy to just go up and down 100 feet. Yeah, but I'm sure it is very easy to do, but it's also critically important for experts not to do that kind of thing, especially in those circumstances.
There's no way two aviators in an Army helicopter would fly directly into a landing regional jet. So both of our experts, who have no dog in this hunt, say this does not look intentional to them. They believe it was just a catastrophic error. And
yeah, that is one of the conspiracy theories going around, is that it was some sort of, it was done on purpose. Like an assassination. Who was on the airplane? Who are they trying to take out? That makes no sense at all. That's no way. If you're going to assassinate somebody, you're not going to get Army people to fly their helicopter into an airliner. That's, yeah, it just shows how people on the internet think, though. There's some very creative people out there.
Anyway, your take on it, Charlie.
Well, yeah, first, it's an unspeakable tragedy. I can't tell you how many times I've been a passenger on that same approach, probably over 100 times, right over the Potomac, right into Reagan National. In fact, where our hotel was, we were in D.C. when this was happening. The boom and the sound woke up our son. We were in a hotel right over the Potomac, and all of a sudden, all the LNS, the lights and sirens, started to go off. Hundreds and hundreds of them. We were wondering what was going on. So, I'm far from an expert, so I don't want to try to speculate on this. It's very unusual. It's very, very confusing. I think that we have the right people to tell us the truth on this. I think Sean Duffy has been doing a great job, and talk about trial by fire. My goodness, you hit this accomplishment of being Secretary of Transportation, and 4 or 5 hours later, you're being rushed to the worst plane crash since 2009. I think President Trump has been terrific. In his press conference, you could tell President Trump was ticked off, not really necessarily at a particular person, but you could tell that he was ticked off at the loss of innocent life so unnecessarily. And I hope people understand that that was in many ways, Donald Trump showing his heart and his like impatience and his intolerance for such a situation like this. There's so many questions that we need answered, such as, okay, if there is even a 1 in 100,000 chance that a helicopter will hit a commercial airliner, aren't there other places you could do training exercises? Again, I'm just a layman, so I need someone
Agreed.
more educated to maybe fill me in on that. But if, by the way, the near misses, they say, oh yeah, helicopters and doing test flights near miss commercial airlines all the time. Like, well, what are we doing here? Why is this even in the cards? Why are we even considering this? And then finally, of course, it does warrant further examination. Where I'm most interested in on this very cryptic FAA report where they said something was not normal at air traffic control, or something was not right, or something was highly unusual.
It's in the New York Times today.
We don't know what that. Yeah, we don't know what that is, actually. That was a very cryptic message. I have full confidence that Secretary Duffy is going to actually get to the bottom of this and let us know what that means. Could it be something about someone who's unqualified that was there? I don't know. I don't want to speculate in that. But we do know that the New York Times has reported months prior, and this has been a theme, that near misses are becoming more and more typical in our nation's airports. And it's beyond shocking, and just again, it doesn't require any further comment than just a awful tragedy that all of us can sympathize with, because we've been not just at that airport, but on similar approaches like that all across the country.
Yeah, it is really a tragedy. And if near misses are becoming more common, then there must be a reason for it. Now, I think it's quite clear that there is a general deterioration in competence across the board, and that deterioration has been ongoing relatively slowly, but at some point it's just going to drop off a cliff, like has happened in South Africa. South Africa became, democratic in 1994. Apartheid was abolished, the majority rule took over, and what happened? It's gone to the shitter. So I think something like that could be on the cards for the United States if it continues along the route it has been going on. Hopefully it won't. But so yeah, the competence thing is one, and yeah, maybe there's understaffing in the FAA for some reason. There shouldn't be. That shouldn't even be. As much as I'm very happy with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, slashing into the government bureaucracy. And it's causing, wow, you should just see the wailing and gnashing of teeth on Reddit by federal employees of these bloated government bureaucracies. Yeah, I think a lot of that, probably who knows how much, but huge amounts, like USAID, that's the current one, which is the target of Elon Musk and DOGE, and good. I think it should just be completely disbanded, 100%. Not even, I wouldn't even look at each program or anything. There's probably just too many to look at. I would just disband it immediately. Yes, people have told me, oh, America's going to lose its soft power if we do. I don't care. It has done so much bad. And yeah, so anyway, there's going to be a lot of money, if budgeting is an issue for the FAA, a lot of money is going to be saved elsewhere. Thank God. They can be, used to hire additional air traffic controllers if that's necessary. And secondly, there's going to be a lot of people looking for a job. Maybe all those bureaucrats who have done literally make-work jobs can go pick fruit, because, there's going to be a lot of jobs in agriculture and meat packing and all that, now that all the illegals are being kicked out of the country. So I think it will all work out in the end. It's going to be bumpy for a while. There's going to be a few shocks, but I think it will work out. And with that, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.